Daniel to PT2.
Welcome, welcome. I'm Prophet DL, and this is Life and Godliness. It is now time to read Daniel chapter 2. Remember, I just did a video and I talked about some prayer points that I wanted to keep, so I decided to put Daniel chapter 2 by itself. We are reading it from the Message version. We've already said our prayer, so let's get into it. Go look at the other video. The other video talks about a dream that I had and us keeping our prayer points for our nation and things like that. So we will do that. Let's keep our prayer points, but now we will get into the word so we can start our day. Daniel chapter 2, the Message version. King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Remember the king. He's having a dream, okay? In the second year of the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar, King Nebuchadnezzar started having dreams that disturbed him deeply. He couldn't sleep. He called in all the Babylonian musicians, enchanters, and sorcerers, and fortune tellers. Remember, he needed him to be trained in sorcery, in magic, and all those things. So he called in all the Babylonian musicians, enchanters, sorcerers, and fortune tellers to interpret his dream for him. And when they came in, lined up before him, they lined up before the king, and he said to them, I had a dream, and I can't get it out of my mind. I can't sleep until I know what this dream means. The fortune teller, speaking in the Aramaic language, said, Long live the king. Tell us your dream, and we will interpret it for you. The king answered the fortune tellers, This is my decree. If you can both tell me the dream itself and its interpretation, I will have you ripped to pieces, limb from limb, and your homes turned down. So you know that he said this dream disturbed me. I can't sleep. I cannot sleep. This thing is big. I don't know what it is, but it is something. So you're going to need to be able, if you say you are who you ought to be able to tell me my dream too. The same God that tell you the interpretation ought to tell me what it means, the whole dream. So do that part or you gonna die. I'm just saying. The king answered the fortune teller, This is my decree. If you can't tell me both the dream itself and its interpretation, I will have you ripped piece to piece, limb by limb, and your homes will be torn down. But if you tell me both the dream and its interpretation, I will lavish you with gifts and honor. So go on to it. Tell me the dream and its interpretation. He listening. And they said, If it pleases you, your majesty, tell us what the dream is, and we will give you the interpretation. But the king said, I know what you're up to. You're just playing for time. I know you're cornered, and you know that if you don't tell me my dream, then you're out and you're doomed. I see right through you. You're going to slap together some fancy stories and confuse the issue until I change my mind. No way. First tell me the dream, and then I'll know that you're on the up and up with the interpretation and not just blowing smoke in my eyes. The fortune teller said, Nobody nowhere can do what you're asking, and no king, great or small, has ever demanded anything like this from any musician, enchanter, or fortune teller. What you're asking is impossible unless some god or goddess should reveal it. And they don't hang around with people like us. That set the king off. He lost his temper and ordered the whole company of the Babylonian wise men killed. When the death warrant was issued, Daniel and his companions were included. They were also marked for execution. When Arioch, chief of the royal guard, was making arrangements for the execution, Daniel wisely took him aside and quietly asked, What's going on? Why all this all of a sudden? After Arioch filled in the background, Daniel went to the king and asked for a little time so he could interpret the dream. Now remember, the king know because Daniel interpreted before. So he's going to allow this. He went to the king and asked him for a little more time, and he said that he could interpret the dream. Daniel then went home and told his companions, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in their Babylonian names. What was going on? He asked them to pray to the God of heaven for mercy, for mercy and solving this mystery, so that the four of them would not be killed along with the whole company of the Babylonian wise men. Dream interpretation. A story of 5 kingdoms. That night, the answer to the mystery that was given to Daniel in a vision. Daniel blessed the God of heaven, saying, "Blessed be the name of God forever and ever. He knows all, does all. He changes the seasons and guides history. He raises up kings and also brings them down. He provides both intelligence and discernment. He opens up the depths and tells secrets. Seeing in the dark, light spills out of him. God of all of my ancestors, all thanks, all praise. You have made me wise and strong, and you have now shown us what we've asked for. You've solved the king's mystery." So Daniel went back to Arioch, who had been put in charge of the execution, and he said, "Call off the execution. Take me to the king, and I'll interpret his dream." Arioch didn't lose a minute. He ran to the king, bringing Daniel with him, and said, "I found a man from the exiles of Judah who can interpret the king's dream." The king asked Daniel, renamed the Babylonian name Belteshazzar, "Are you sure you can do this? Tell me the dream and its interpretation for me. Tell it to me." And Daniel answered the king, "No mere human can solve the king's mystery. I don't care who it is, no wise man, no enchanter, no musician, no diviner. But there is a God in heaven who solves mysteries, and he has solved this one. He is letting King Nebuchadnezzar in on what is going to happen in the days ahead. This is the dream you had when you were lying on your bed, the vision that filled your mind. While you were stretched out on your bed, O king, thoughts came to you regarding what is coming in the days ahead. The revealer of mystery showed you what will happen, but the interpretation is given through me, not because I'm any smarter than anyone else in the country, but so that you will know what it means, so you will understand what you're dreaming, what you have dreamed. What you saw, O king, was a huge statue standing before you, striking in appearance and terrifying. The head of the statue was pure gold, and the chest and arms were silver. The belly and hips were bronze. The legs were iron, and the feet were iron ceramic mixture. While you were looking at this statue, a stone cut out of the mountain by an invisible hand hit the statue, smashing its iron ceramic feet. And then the whole thing fell to pieces. Iron, tile, bronze, silver, gold, smashed to bits. It was like scraps of old newspaper in a vacant lot on a hot and dry summer, blown every which way by the wind, scattered to oblivion. But the stone that hit the statue became a huge mountain, dominating in horizon. This was your dream. And now I will tell you the interpretation, king. You, O king, are the most powerful king on earth. The God of heavens has given you the works, rule, power, strength, and glory. He has put you in charge of men and women, wild animals and birds all over the world. You're the head ruler, and you are the head of gold. But your rule will be taken over by another kingdom inferior to yours. These are the changes in what we saw. So the head was the gold, and then it goes down. So you are the head of gold. But your rule will be taken over by another kingdom inferior to yours, and that one by a third, a bronze kingdom, but still ruling the whole land. And after that by a fourth kingdom, iron-like in strength. Just as iron smashes things to bits, breaking and pulverizing, it will burst up the previous kingdoms. But then the feet and the toes that ended up as a mixture of ceramic and iron will deteriorate into a mongrel kingdom with some remains of iron in it. Just as the toes and the feet were